6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. Parliamentarian Vajira Abeyewardena says the country should be developed before political parties prosper. Raids commenced to nab the errant traders who charge VAT from consumers without VAT registration. The opposition leader alleges that 1,212 ballooners evade paying tax. The sports minister says the ICC lifts the suspension on Sri Lanka cricket. The funeral of the late State Minister Sanat Nishant was held last afternoon with a huge gathering of local residents in the Puttalama district. 120 megawatts of electricity will be added to the national grid by the 15th of next month. In news overseas, the Israeli Prime Minister's office gaps remain in hostage deal talks. In sports news, 16-member Sri Lanka squad for Afghanistan test. Parliamentarian Vajira Abeyewardena says the country should be developed before the political parties prosper. The country should prosper to go along with the world standards. The political development should be given second preference. The parliamentarian also said the government was able to negotiate with the IMF successfully and brought stability to the economy. This is a healthy change for the country to prosper, he added. The parliamentarian made these remarks at a media conference held in Colombo yesterday. The Maldives Coastal Guard unit has captured 2 Sri Lankan trawlers and arrested a few fishermen on board while illegally fishing in the Maldives waters. The 2 trawlers are lying at the Alif port of Maldives. Later, these trawlers and fishermen were handed over to the Maldives police at Malé. The opposition leader Sajith Premadasa alleges that 1,212 ballooners evade paying tax. The opposition leader also said there are a few companies which have obtained a large amount of loans without a guarantor. This has caused a huge damage to the country and the country's banking system. This has affected the small and medium entrepreneur sectors severely too. The opposition leader said the opposition is a well-structured plan to redevelop the country from the downfall. He said if elected, he has a plan to recover the tax from the mega businessmen. The program will be implemented when elected, the opposition leader added. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. State Minister Shashendra Rajapaksa said 120 megawatts of electricity will be added to the national grid by the 15th of next month. 3,077 megawatts of electricity will be added to the grid through the hydro and solar panel renewable energy sources. 31 reservoirs are identified for the hydropower generation purposes. The State Minister made these remarks at a media conference held at the Presidential Media Centre this morning. Addressing the media personnel, the State Minister further said that the year 2024 has been identified as the year of food security. The necessary irrigation facilities will be provided by the ministry, the State Minister added. The Indian High Commission in Colombo is calling for applications for 200 fully funded scholarships for Sri Lankan nationals to study in Indian institutes and universities. The scholarships offer medical, paramedical, fashion design and law courses. The scholarships are offered for the 24-25 academic session. 3 memorial scholarship schemes cover business, economics, commerce, humanities and arts, engineering, information technology, sciences and agriculture. The Nehru Memorial Scholarship Scheme covers postgraduate, graduate and PhD courses in engineering, science, business, economics, commerce, humanities and the arts. The Maulana Azad Scholarship Scheme offers master's degrees courses in engineering, science and agriculture, while the Rajiv Gandhi Scholarship Scheme offers undergraduate courses in information technology leading to a Bachelor of Engineering and Bachelor of Technology program. The scholarship schemes would cover the full tuition fees for the entire duration of the course, monthly sustenance allowances and annual grants for books and stationery. Details are available on the Education Ministry's website www.mohe.gov.lk. That's www.mohe.gov.lk. The International Cricket Council ICC has lifted the ban imposed on Sri Lanka cricket with immediate effect, the Sports Minister Harin Fernando reveals. He said an official statement from the ICC will follow shortly. On the 10th of November, the ICC suspended SLC's membership with immediate effect on the grounds that the governing body is in serious breach of its obligations as a member, in particular the requirement to manage its affairs autonomously and to ensure that there is no government interference in the governance, regulation and/or administration of cricket in Sri Lanka. Following a meeting of the ICC board on the 21st of November, it was decided that Sri Lanka could continue to compete internationally both in bilateral cricket and ICC despite their suspension for breaching its obligations as a member, in particular the requirement to manage its affairs autonomously and without government interference. However, funding to SLC will be controlled by the ICC, and the ICC board confirmed Sri Lanka will no longer host the ICC Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup 2024, which will now be held in South Africa, the ICC said in a statement. As a result of the suspension, Sri Lanka was also replaced by South Africa as host for the 15th edition of the ICC Men's Under-19 Cricket World Cup 2024. The funeral service of the late State Minister Sanath Nishanta was held last afternoon with a large gathering of local residents at his residence in Arachikattua, following which he was buried at the Rajakadluva cemetery. The police said Sanath Nishanta's vehicle had crashed against a roadside barrier on the Katanayake Expressway on the 25th of January at around 2 a.m. after rear-ending a moving container truck. Following the fatal collision, 3 injured persons, including the State Minister, were rushed to the Colombo North Teaching Hospital in Ragama, but the State Minister and his security guard, identified as a police constable named Jayakodi, had later succumbed to their injuries. This has also created some suspicion on the sudden death of the State Minister Sanath Nishanta. Addressing the large gathering at the funeral, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa said Sanath Nishanta's sudden death was a big loss to the nation. State Minister D.B. Heraj said the late Sanath Nishanta worked hard for the people of the Puttalama district day and night, and he had the courage, wisdom and energy to serve the people. The funeral was attended by about 300,000 people from the Puttalama district. Apparently this was the first time in the district and the country a large gathering of this nature was seen.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Veda Mahatmya.
Raids commenced to nab errant traders who charge VAT from consumers without VAT registration. The Inland Revenue Department has deployed many officers to carry out these raids. The decision was taken based on complaints received from consumers from different parts of the country. The public can make their complaints to the department. The Inland Revenue Department officers have already raided many business establishments and taken away the relevant tax documents for further investigations.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Veda Mahatmya.
This is Watchlight.
The National Dengue Control Unit says that 3 dengue deaths were reported in the past 20 days of this year. According to the unit official reports, the number of dengue cases reported daily has increased to 347. The total number of dengue patients identified so far this year is 7,299. The highest numbers of patients are reported from the Western Province. This number stands at 2,401. The National Dengue Control Unit requests the public to be vigilant over the issue and take maximum efforts to clean and keep the office and residence premises free of mosquitoes.
Coming up, World News.
World news headlines now. Noto quake survivors face challenges in rebuilding lives 4 weeks on. The Israeli Prime Minister's office gaps remain in hostage deal talks. Russia and Belarus to boost cooperation in military industry. Monday marks 4 weeks since a major earthquake struck the Noto Peninsula in central Japan. More than 10,000 people are still staying at evacuation centers in Ishikawa Prefecture. Authorities in the prefecture say nearly 490 evacuation centers are housing more than 14,500 people. Worsening sanitary conditions have become a problem. Evacuees are cleaning the shelters to reduce the risk of infectious diseases. The Israeli Prime Minister's office says talks among intelligence chiefs aimed at brokering a hostage deal between Israel and Hamas have been held in Europe, but gaps still remain. The Prime Minister's office said in a statement on Sunday that the meeting included the head of Israel's Mossad intelligence service, U.S. Central Intelligence Agency Director William Burns, the Qatari Prime Minister and other officials. The statement says the talks were constructive, but there are still significant gaps which the sides will continue to discuss at additional meetings this week. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko say they will boost cooperation in the military industry and other fields. The leaders met in the second largest Russian city, St. Petersburg, yesterday. Putin said at the start of the talks that the two countries are developing ties in all areas including economy, education and culture. And now the main points of the World News segment once again. Noto quake survivors face challenges in rebuilding lives 4 weeks on. The Israeli Prime Minister's office gaps remain in hostage deal talks. Russia and Belarus to boost cooperation in the military industry.
Development News.
Litrogas Lanka Limited has recently declared an impressive contribution of 3 billion rupees in dividends to the Sri Lankan government treasury through its primary shareholder Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation. This consists of 1.5 billion rupees made in October 2023 and another 1.5 billion rupees paid on the 26th of January 2024. This noteworthy gesture comes at a crucial time when Sri Lanka is actively seeking to boost state revenue to attain stability in the aftermath of a pandemic followed by an economic downturn. Furthermore, Litro has demonstrated its commitment to national empowerment by also paying 2.6 billion rupees in taxes and duties, solidifying its position as one of the few profitable state-owned enterprises.
Moving on with sports news.
The Sri Lanka Test squad comprising 16 players have been picked by the National Selection Committee headed by Upul Taranga, and this squad is subject to approval by the Sports Minister. The squad is led by new captain Dhananjay De Silva, while experienced players Dimuth Kanaratne, Angelo Matthews, Dinesh Chandimal and 3 former skippers are also included in the squad. Both Kanaratne and Matthews hit centuries at the last NSL game, while skipper Dhananjay De Silva and youngster Kamindu Mendis, who also hit centuries, are in good form. Kusal Mendis also hit fine knock of 80 to ensure his place and was named as deputy skipper. Nishan Madushka and Sadira Samaravikrama, the wicket-keeper batsmen, have found places, while opener Pathum Nisanka couldn't find a place as he is not in good form. However, Lahiru Dara, the NCC wicket-keeper batsman, got a chance in the squad with his form, while 2 young pacemen, Milan Ratnayaka and Shamika Gunasekara, were also in the squad. Both Ratnayaka and Gunasekara were among the wickets recently.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In a grand celebration of achievements, HNB Assurance recently hosted the Partnership Live 2024 event, recognizing the outstanding accomplishments of the partnership channel throughout 2023. The event brought together key stakeholders including HNB bank assurance officers, other bank sales officers and insurance brokers. While the HNB partnership channel recorded one of the best years in terms of its performance, the highlight was the channel's impressive GWP collection, exceeding 5 billion, marking a substantial 21% growth compared to the previous year.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
And now in economic news, the International Monetary Fund has published its evaluation of Sri Lanka's performance in the first phase of the first term of the ongoing Extended Fund Facility Program, which commenced in March 2023. USAID-backed Verite Research updated its IMF tracker based on all information available, including the IMF evaluation titled First Review under the Arrangement under the Extended Fund Facility. Sri Lanka had met with some delays 60 of the 73 commitments due by the end of November 2023.
Weather report.
The Met Department says showers will occur at times in the eastern and Nuva provinces and in the Polonnaru, Mathale and Nuwara districts. Several spells of showers may occur in the Anuradhapura, Mullaitivu and Hambantota districts. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in the western and Sabargam provinces, the Gala, Mathare and Kandy districts after 2 p.m. Fairly strong winds about 40 km per hour can be expected at times over the central Nuva and northwestern provinces and in the Hambantota district. The public is kindly requested to take precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during the thunder showers. This weather report was issued at 4:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. That was with the report, and now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. Parliamentarian Vajirabe Vardhana says the country should be developed before political parties prosper. Raids commenced on aberrant traders who charge VAT from consumers without VAT registration. The opposition leader alleges that 1,212 ballooners evade paying taxes. The sports minister says the ICC lifts a suspension on Sri Lanka cricket. The funeral of the late state minister Sanat Nishanta was held last afternoon with a huge gathering of local residents in the Puttalama district. 120 megawatts of electricity will be added to the national grid by the 15th of next month. In news overseas, Israeli Prime Minister's office gaps remain in hostage deal talks. In sports news, 16 members Sri Lanka squad for Afghanistan test. That concludes this news broadcast. Now it's back to Anupama Gamage on the other side this Monday morning.